Kelly Bear here. Fun fact, I have tried to film this intro multiple times and got progressively more stressed because PMS is a bitch. I say PMS/PMDD. So much fun. If I feel if I'm feeling particularly unself-conscious, I might put some of those bloopers, false starts in at the end, so that might be at the end of this video. Needless to say, I just want to get this video done at this point. I have a coffee. It is caffeinated. Danger zone. But there we go. Sometimes you just need some caffeine. It is Saturday the 16th of December as of filming. I'm filming this today instead of on a usual Sunday because I might have plans for tomorrow. We're waiting to see if that's going to pan out. Anyway, because, you know, Christmas time to like catch up with people, go on long lovely walks with friends, grab a hot chocolate, that kind of thing. Hopefully it'll be going ahead, we just have to see. So anyway, as you will see from the title of this video, this is going to be my top 5-ish decks of 2023. I was gonna do 10 and then I was like, I waffle so fucking much. If I do 10 decks, it's gonna be at least an hour video, and sometimes I'm like, you poor BBs, I don't want to be like subjecting you to an hour of the crap that comes out of my mouth most of the time. I make these videos for fun and to like chat about tarot, but I'm always like really self-conscious that like I waffle a lot and chat a lot of bobbins, and I like don't have much of a filter. I've gotten better as I've gotten older, but like I talk too much and I struggle to like structure my thoughts. I get problems with like my brain like farting, and I get problems with brain fog and just all sorts of things, and so like it is what it is. So I make these for fun, and I'm always like what's the word, sort of impressed and grateful for the people that do sort of watch, and for those that you comment and stuff underneath. I'm always like, what, why are these people, why are you watching me? And then other times I have days where I'm quite confident. I'm like, I've been reading tarot on and off over a quarter of a fucking century, and actually fairly consistency for well over a decade, and I kind of know my onions. I would never say that I know everything there is to know about tarot, and if anyone ever says they know that that they know everything there is to know about tarot, run away, because they are lying. Anyway, and that's part of the fun, right? You're always learning, always growing, always evolving. Anyway, what the fuck? See what I mean? Side quests, squirrel brain. We're 3 minutes in and I wanted to keep this video succinct. So yes, top 5-ish decks of 2023. Now I wanted to have some criteria for doing this, because otherwise, you know, I have like a lot of decks. I've been really good this year of working with a lot of the decks that I have. Some of that you would have seen on my Instagram account and on my channel here and on my community feed here. Other stuff's been more private, and I've not shared it, or I've just been not feeling like posting stuff or sharing my readings. So yeah, it's been a mixed bag, and I was meant to, I totally forgot to look at the decks that I had wanted to work with this year, but I'm not going to worry about that too much, because it will tie in with a video that I'm hoping to make again towards the end of this year. I mean, we are at the end of this year, I mean within the next couple of weeks before the year ends. But this one is the top 5-ish decks, and my criteria was the decks that I had really profound readings with, decks that I reached for, pulled again and again and again from off of my shelf, from out of the boxes under my altar, decks that I got real sort of nourishment from. And obviously part of that will be down to if I'm using sort of Smith-Waite or sort of situational based decks, that'll partly be down to the spread that I'm using, because I tend to use spreads a bit more with situational or narrational decks, and then with the Pip and sort of Marseille decks, that's more of a like an open reading, and that comes down to more like it's hard to explain, like the fluidity of the reading. I don't know. Anyway, but these are the decks. These are 5 decks that I grabbed for again and again and again, and they're in no particular order, by the way. Actually, let's put them in an order. I can actually put them in an order. Let's do this. Let's do this! Okay, let's put them in an order, and it's more like the order that I worked with them quite deeply throughout the year. Again, with other decks interspersed and oracle decks, and I'm hoping to do an oracle deck version of this. Wow, we're 5 minutes in and I haven't got to the decks. I will need to remember to put chapters in because I can just hear people shouting at me now. Just get the fuck on with it. So the first deck that I'm going to talk about is in this little purple bag. I forgot to take them all out of their packaging. And this was a deck that I rebought towards the end of last year. I'd had the deck for a long time. I'd modded it, really loved it, and then I re-edged it in a marker that was really sticky, and I could no longer shuffle it without it sticking together. And I was really annoyed with myself for not checking the marker before I used it. It was like a metallic paint pen, and it was one of the like sticky ones. They're not all sticky from what I know. And I rendered the deck unusable. I've since used that deck to shuffle and pick out a card for sometimes sending out parcels to customers. I have like odds and sods of decks that I don't love or don't use, or that I got mismatched, you know, two of the same halves of a deck, and they have to send you out a new one. I keep them in a drawer down by my desk. And then when anyone buys one of my pouches, I will shuffle. I'll pick the deck that feels right, and then I like shuffle that, and I pick a card for people, and I just put it in. And people can do what they want with that. They can read it take it as a message. They can use it as a bookmark. You know, they can use it in an art project, whatever. So that's what I do. So as you will see here, it is the Raven's Prophecy. This one isn't trimmed. I haven't even edged it. I keep meaning to edge it in orange, the same orange of the borders, and I've actually come to like the orange borders, and yeah, I didn't feel the need to trim it. Like I said, I would like to edge it. So this deck I bought towards the end of the last year, rebought, and fell back in love with it. I was like, I remember why I loved this deck so much when I first got it. My dad bought it for me for Christmas back in like 2018, 2017, I don't know, 2016, who knows, I can't fucking remember. I remember him taking me into a bookshop in Cambridge, because him and my stepmom live near Cambridge, and we went into the Waterstones there. There's big Waterstones, and he said, because it was right before Christmas, and he went, pick some books and some decks, and so pick whatever you want. And I think I picked a really good aromatherapy oils book, which I still refer to all the time. I love it. It's one of those, it's the Nils Yard. You don't need to see it. It's a really lovely big hardback Nils Yard one. I picked the Raven's Prophecy, the original copy that I had, and then I think I picked like a fiction book, and then he took me for coffee and a mince pie in the cafe at the bookshop, and we had a lovely time. Anyway, so that's by the by. I don't know why I said that. Why did I say that? Someone commented in one of my last videos, I love when you talk about your decks, because it's always like a story time about how you got the deck, or there's a story about the deck. That's just me waffling a lot. But yeah, so I was using this a lot towards the end of last year, and then into this year. I was also pulling the Antique Anatomy a lot around this time as well. Again, another Pippish deck. This has a Pippish quality to it, though. When you read the book, this damn camera, it's more sort of Smith based in its meanings. I always hold up the whole deck and then realise that that's a bad idea, because it's hard to actually show you what I want to show you. And also there's always the risk that I drop the whole deck onto the bloody laptop and like balk it, or like press the pause bar and it stops recording, which I have done in the past. So yeah, it's got a real Pippish quality. I love the dark backgrounds. I love all the tone, like the artwork. I think it's pencil, but as you can see, there's like, it's really vibrant in the sense that the black background really showcases the color, and then it's the kind of artwork where they've used lots of different layers of colors to get real beautiful values. Oh my god, come on. Like, look at those oak leaves. See, it's got blues and greens and yellows and orange, and oh, it's just yummy. It's really sort of, oh, I love this Chariot. Now, I've never read the books that sort of preceded or sort of spawned this deck, as it were. As far as I know, you don't have to. I've certainly not felt the need to. I would like to, but I've not felt, oh, this deck makes zero sense to me, I need to read those books before I can understand it. I've never felt that with this deck. I feel like reading those books will give a deeper understanding of this deck for sure. I love this. I know that this is what's the, oh my god, my brain is farting. Never mind. Anyway, I really love this card. I can't remember the things I want to say. Like, oh my goodness. Beautiful. And yeah, I got some really, really profound readings with this. I mean, I love crows. I mean, who doesn't love, I mean, there must be some people that don't like crows. But I love crows, or ravens, I should say. Ravens are massive. They're really large boys. But yeah, so this was, there's just something about it. There's something about all of the simplicity of it. I know some people don't like, you know, this is a very, when all is said and done, it's quite a simple, sparse image. But for me, it gives a certain space for my mind to, like, think. Does that make sense? Like, it's just enough to go off. I get what they're getting at for the most part, when I pull a card. You know, look, 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups. My brain can't read. So yeah, lots of fiery imagery. Look at that for Temperance. Temperance was my card for 2023. Next year is the Devil. Kind of half excited, half all like about that. 10 of Cups. Look at that family of the ravens. Look how cute they are. Anyway, this camera is a piece of shit. So yeah, so that is the first deck that I'm mentioning, and I used this, worked with this for sort of towards the top of this year. The end of last year and into the beginning of this year, and is one that I've sort of sporadically pulled out. I hope not sporadically. Whenever I say that word, I think of Thai. That's where I learned that word. See, there's loads of, I learned so many words from reading, but also from watching films and TV shows. Okay, so the next one came into my life in the beginning of the year as well. It came into my life in January. It was very kindly bought for me by Sandra of Avalon Tarot, and I was blown away because I wasn't expecting it. She had had me mention it in a live that I did at the beginning of the year, saying that it's on my wish list. I really, really want it. And you know, the next day or the day after, she messaged me going, please don't be annoyed, but you know, I kind of bought it for you. And it's sort of, she said, you know, pretend it's a Christmas present or a birthday present, because my birthday was in like a week's time or something, or 2 weeks time. So I was like, I'll just say it's like a birthday present then. Fine, I'll let you off for being naughty and buying me something naughty but nice, which is always the best way, right? Naughty but nice. And it's the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess, who's got the game Marseille that I've backed on Kickstarter, and apparently a Fifth Spirit Lenormand coming out next spring, I think. I'm so excited about that because I've been getting back into Lenormand the last few months, maybe since September. Yes, 3 months is a few, right? And yeah, it's September, August, September. What is even his time? And this really blew me away. This is the mass market version, which I actually prefer. I like the changes that have been made to it. I like that it's actually got the titles written on, because for me it wasn't always completely obvious at the very beginning when I first got this deck. This deck is beautiful. It's inclusive. It's tender. It's doesn't shy away from the harsher aspects of life. The guidebook is amazing. I'm waiting to see, because it's on my wish list for Christmas, is Radical Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess, the tarot book that they wrote. I'm waiting to see if I get it for like Christmas or my birthday, and if I don't, then I'll buy it for myself. But it came out in September, and I already had so many other books that I wanted to read in my stack, which I still haven't read because I'm really struggling to read the last few months as well. I was doing so well with the reading. I was reading every morning. I was reading a lot in the evenings, reading fiction in the evenings, and really like hurtling through books for the first time in a long time. And yeah, I don't know, just something like I just really hit a wall in like September. Just a load of just stuff started really kicking off for me, extra kicking off for me, I should say, on a number of fronts, and I just lost my spoons. This makes me think of Charlie Brown. You know, his little his jumper with the little black on it. Oh, I used to love that show. Little Snoopy. So yeah, this deck, I really fell in love with the guidebook, and I keep the guidebook by my altar at all times when I do like a daily draw or a weekly draw or whatever. It has really interesting interpretations of the cards. You know, look at that for the Page of Pentacles, tending a bulb. And like I said, it has a pippish quality. This is quite pippish, right? It's not very. It feels very like it's steeped in Rider-Waite-Smith, but Charlie Clever just has gone sort of and done their own thing. This is the ace. Here's that bulb again that we saw in the page, in the ace. And what I really like, can you see how their hand is really dirty? They've got dirt under the fingernails. They're really sort of like working with the earth, with the element, right? Like really interesting. Nine of Swords. We don't have someone in bed. We have all of these like sharp implements, like a hacksaw and a safety razor blade and a dagger and a, oh my god, meat cleaver, all sorts of stuff. Really love it. Really love it. I probably should have pulled out some of my favourite cards from each deck, but I love this Queen of Cups. I love that she's got all these pendulums, or they've got all these pendulums sitting, hanging above them, and then they're like got the tarot deck and then like this bowl, maybe for scrying, and some runes or some kind of like locked casting system there with those. Can you see on the table at the front? They could be runes. Just yeah, this really along with the guidebook really provided some really beautiful, gentle support. Oh, I love this Ace of Cups as well. I really love the cardstock. It's quite a chunky deck, but it shuffles nicely over itself. Oh, this is one of my favourite ever magicians. I really love this magician card so much. An alchemist, a herbalist, I don't know. But they're experimenting, and I love it. I can't remember what I was saying now. See what I mean? Brain farts. I love the Emperor as well, one of my favourite ever Emperors, and one of my favourite and most succinct descriptions and explanations of the Emperor in the guidebook to this. I love that we have trans representation. That's something that's really important for me. Again here, a Sun card that I can really get down with. And I don't know if this is meant to be Charlie themselves or not, but with the doggy, cute. See, like we've got chest surgery scars, top surgery scars. Love it. King of Swords. This feels very apt right now. We've got an activist as a King of Swords with the megaphone. I think this is one of my favourites as well, again, for the King of Swords. So many faves. The Star. I mean, we've got double mastectomy, what looks like double mastectomy scars, belly rolls, we've got some pubic hair, we've got all sorts of great, like, just, the serenity on this person's face. I just love it. So I really, this was a real surprise for me, because I wasn't expecting to receive it when I did. I was thinking I might get it a bit later in the year, and then it turned up, and it quickly became a hard and fast favourite of my like deck collection, and one that I go to again and again and again. I'm 20 minutes in and I've shown 2 decks. So much for a quick video. The next deck that I worked with quite a lot and was on my list of decks to work with in 2023, because I had wanted to work with it more last year and didn't really get around to it. So I was like, right, I'm actually going to pull this one out, damn it, and I'm going to actually use it because I hadn't used it extensively for a long time. And I do really love the artwork, and it is the Ostara Tarot. So again, the first deck being quite pippish, these two being more Smithwaite, although the Fifth Spirit is a little pippish. This is very shiny cardstock, so it's going to be a little harder for me to see. This is created by four Canadian. I'll put the whole thing upside down. 4 Canadian artists who took a suit each and then divvied up the majors. And some people said they can't work with this deck because they find the art styles too disparate. I actually find that the art styles work perfectly fine together for me. I struggle with decks where every single card is made by a different artist, but this has a cohesiveness to it that I find perfectly fine. Again, really a Smithwaite based deck, but really interesting interpretations, excuse me, of the cards. Really beautiful interpretations of the cards. Lots of animals in this deck, which I always appreciate. Lots of this sort of whimsy. I mean, we've got a raccoon nicking off with some swords for the 7 of Swords. Little trash panda. Those little grabby hands. It's like cute. Instead of a fox, because usually most people would go for a fox. I like that it is a raccoon. But yeah, like, and there's some like more abstract. This is death, and it's got quite sort of abstract vibe to it. But again, I found it very, yeah, like I said, the decks that I've picked here have been very, like, I felt held by them. Does that sound wanky? I felt held and nourished by these decks, which is very not me thing to say, but I love this moon card so much. I used to have a hair like this, with the blue bob with the fringe, for those who remember when my hair was blue and bobbed. What else? Let's see. Oh, just so many. I love the court cards in this deck. Is this like a desert fox or something? Gorgeous. Oh. Look at this little family for the 10 of coins. So yeah, I like that it sort of deviated so much. Like, it deviates like the Fifth Spirit deviates and does the same thing for the most part for a Smithwaite interpretation. Again, like this one as well, I guess. They all are Smithwaite, rooted in Smithwaite, but kind of deviate from it. And I guess that's part of the thing, right? I found, and I think that's with all of these decks that I'm going to show you, they're rooted in a certain system, which is interesting because I class myself as a Marseille reader, but I've felt, and I think it's also because I've been doing a lot of daily readings this year, which I wasn't doing as much last year or the year before. And so I felt like when I'm doing daily readings, I pull anywhere between 1 and 3 cards. And actually, if I'm pulling 1 card, which I was starting to do more and more because I felt it was more manageable for me, I wanted to have to do less work mentally because I've just been this whole year. I felt that I just wanted like a snapshot. I wanted that snapshot. I didn't want just 3 coins, or because for me, a Marseille or a Pip deck really sort of comes to life when you're from reading that open style with the way that the cards are all interacting together, right? Whereas if you are pulling 1 card, these kind of decks work, but I didn't work so much with straight up Smithwaite decks this year, and I think it's just because, you know, that's already sort of imprinted on my brain anyway, and it's nice to have something. That's always, if I'm reading with a Smithwaite deck, my brain is always going to pull up in the Rolodex of my in my head that card in Smithwaite, right? Anyway, I can just picture it and pull up the file of the meanings in my head. I'm basically describing remembering shit in the like daftest way. Sorry. What even is this video? But this gives enough of a jumping off point to make it sort of more interesting and sort of think outside the box, and to give my brain some different sort of talking points for itself, I guess, or journaling prompts. Journaling points. The Empress, very interesting Empress. So yeah, I just, oh, the Queen. I love the purples in this card. And mauve. It's really beautiful mauves and lavenders and purples. Some sort of blues. This camera makes me annoyed. Stunning. Stunning. The book's pretty good for this as well. It's very succinct. There's not much information for each card, but like it packs a punch. So I really enjoy this. I just really enjoyed the seals. So yeah, I'll just keep showing you all these beautiful cards. And I know that this isn't a deck that many people, I don't see this around much. I know that Jessica of Jessica and the Moon, or is it Jessica and Story? I can't remember, she changed the name of her channel and now I can't remember it off the top of my head. My memory is so bad. Apologies, Jessica. So yeah, then the next deck that I was just like having a real moment with, I mean, I'm not really having a moment with it, it's always around, but specifically the pocket version, because I had Temperance, which is my card of the year, from the large deck version of it that I have on my altar at all times, and I didn't want to like always take it off my altar, shuffle it into the large deck, and then go through that bloody deck at the end of the reading, take it out, put it back on my altar. So like I have the mini version, let's just use the mini version, and it is the Next World Tarot. Again, there's a lot of like different, like it's based in Smith-Waite, but it has a lot of its own stuff going on. It's very inclusive and it's radical in a way. I mean, I feel like the Fifth Spirit is radical as well, but this, I feel like this one goes a bit further in. The Fifth Spirit goes further with regards to like making it completely ungendered. There's no gendered language, no gendered titles, anything like that. Whereas I feel like this one still has changed some of the titles, keeps some of the titles, some of them, but with the imagery, like it's called the Next World Tarot because it's like what comes next, how do we rebuild when everything has been sort of, when we tear everything down that's not working and we rebuild in a way that is more sustainable, more kind and fair and just for everyone in the world, where everyone is included and taken care of. What does that look like? How do we, you know, I just really love that about this deck. So I am showing you the smaller version. Incidentally, I do think this is easier to see on camera than the large version, even though it's bigger, because it's so glossy. I have the indie version. Simon of the Hermit's Cave gifted his copy to me kindly a few years ago. And I do keep saying I need to buy the mass market, like big sized version, so that I have a less glossy copy. But you know, I'm less likely to buy a deck that I already own unless it's in a mini version, and even then I have to really love a deck to have it in a mini version, like as in not just to the mini version but the large and the mini. And I don't know if I think this might be the only one that I've done that with. So yeah, I just really, there's lots of stuff to do with you know, climate justice and you know, the Black Lives Matter movement, and just radical kindness, radical self-love, radical ooh, I love, again, another beautiful Empress card. There's a real oh, there's so much vibrancy and joy in this as well. Look at this Queen of Pentacles. I love the top hat and like the coat, or like the like sleeveless coat with the purple lining. Oh. Here's the Temperance card. This is the card that I have the large version on my like altar trolley. Just because I just love it. I love it. Yeah, this deck, sorry, really, we get to see people like differently, like people with disabilities, or again, same with the Fifth Spirit as well. We'll see like different bodies of all kinds, all colours, all sizes, all abilities, and that makes me happy. I mean, this is such a powerful Seven of Wands. How powerful is that? You know, when you think about the Smith-Waite version and you've got this person sort of standing above everyone and they're in an advantaged position, right? these people are like trying to like have at them with their staffs, but this person has the advantage. They're above them. They can like whack-a-mole them on the head, you know. Whereas this woman here is she's low ground on the ground, right? Cross-legged in a, you know, this is peaceful protest, and behind her you have all the police in all of their riot gear, and this sort of ominous red clouds behind them, which gives that sort of very angry and aggressive atmosphere. And then these sort of black and white candles in front of her, and she's holding a piece of like foliage or tree or something, and it's just so, she's just so rooted in her like position and so sure of what she's doing and so sure of herself. And I just think it's really beautiful. So yeah, I find the book to this one, I know not everyone loves the book to this one because the book is very radical as well, as written in very sort of radical language and about how it's coming from that point of view, which I really like, because so many books do not do that, right? So some people are like, well, I can't use that, but well, there's like other tarot books, you don't have to use that interpretation, or you can weave that interpretation into your readings. You don't, or you could fully use it. It doesn't matter, like you do you, right? But I think that it's nice to have books that are so radical, just because so many of them aren't. It's a voice that, it's a language, it's a voice that we need to be hearing, right? It's like now more than ever, right? Oh my god. And then the fifth, I should say I've got 2 honourable mentions, which is why it's 5-ish decks. The next deck that I've used so much is the Shadowland Tarot. Oh god, this deck is, I love the bright, I'm not usually a yellow lover, but I actually really like the joyful yellow backs. And it matches the Lenormand, which I also have. But yeah, this deck, again, combined with the guidebook, really good guidebooks. I'm not a massive fan of the Raven's Prophecy guidebook. I do find it's very hit and miss for me. But all of the other ones, even the very simple and succinct, oh god, I'm just trying to look at the box so I could remember the name of it. Ostara Tarot. The book to that. There's just something about all of them, but specifically the Next World Tarot, the Fifth Spirit Tarot, and the Shadowland Tarot, the guidebooks they're really giving something, whether it's their radical tone or they're just sort of not completely ungendered, neutral language and sort of loving way of talking to the reader, or the just lots of in-depth information and journal prompts that are provided in the guidebook for this. Like, really got a lot out of the books as well as the decks themselves. I've really taken time to, when reading, to not only go by whatever my little Rolodex of meanings are and that I've sort of garnered over time, and not just looking at the imagery for sort of intuitive prompts or narrative prompts, but I've really this year really been like looking at the deck, the book that comes with the deck, after I've sort of come to my own conclusions and feelings about a reading or a card. And I've really enjoyed that, because each of these people that have the books have been written by the people that created the decks. It's not someone that has written you know, when you get like mass market decks and a tarot writer, and there's loads of tarot writers that I really respect and really enjoy their books, where they are paired, and they do it over and over again over the years. They'll be paired up with an artist and they'll make some kind of themed deck of some description. And sometimes that can be really disappointing. One that I can think of off the top of my head is the Modern Spellcasters Tarot. The artwork to that deck is amazing. The book doesn't talk about any of the interesting choices that were made in the artwork for that deck, and it just pissed me off, because it's like, did you even have a conversation with the artist, or are you just interested in writing about I have issues with the book that goes with that deck anyway, because there's some like really sort of scaremongering stuff to do with like demons and cleansing your deck and possession and some shit, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? But anyway, you know, I'm ragging on someone's writing here, but like, it's just when you're fear mongering, I think it's a bit, you know, we've got problems. And also, it just annoyed me because there was an opportunity to do something really different and interesting and talk about this fucking amazing artwork in this deck, and it just wasn't taken, and that annoys me. Of course, there are writers and artists that pair up, and it's a more collaborative, right? And it makes more sense, and I appreciate that, right? Because it's a team. That's fucking teamwork. But there is something so, like, when you get an artist that also writes the deck, writes the book, like Monica Podersky's books, for example, she always goes above and beyond. You're getting all the information, you're getting the color picture, you're getting the journal prompts, you're getting all the keywords, like, and that is for all the decks of hers that I have. And I have her tarot deck, her Lenormand deck, I have her Between the Worlds Oracle, like, just chef's kiss. I'm always excited to see. I think she's got another deck coming out next year, I think. I'm excited to see what she's going to be doing with that. So yeah, I've really enjoyed getting something out of the books, because for a while I would, like, occasionally be like, oh, just look to see what that means in a book, or I'll look up in 78 Degrees of Wisdom just out of interest, or I'm having a real brain fart day or a real brain fog day. But I've really made a deliberate choice to, like, look up afterwards and go, oh, you know, because it's nice to see where the artist was coming from. Anyway, finally, my two honorable mentions, and these are two decks that just brought so much joy and, like, fun, and, like, I really enjoy, like, obviously using these other decks that I've shown you as well, and there's a lot of fun and joy in those as well. But what I mean is, like, I would pull these decks out and I would be giddy with just, like, like a little weirdo. And the first one is I completely stumbled on it by accident towards the beginning of this year, like February or March. And I was like, holy crapola, I need this deck in my life immediately. I shared it on Instagram and on here, and then so many people messaged me. They DM'd me on, like, Instagram, or messaged me on the comments, or even messaged me on Facebook, because they're friends with me on Facebook, saying, I bought that deck, I loved it so much. I'm just like, and it is the Dinosaurs de Marseille. This is by Anastasia Kashian. It's created in the UK. This is a artist, I believe she's still in Wales. And it is actually technically it's a Minky Arte. The guidebook is succinct but fun. So I have the Minky Artes separately. But this deck, everything about it, the size of it, the backs, the artwork, the theme, the name changes of the suits and of the cards, the fact that it is a Minky Arte and you get a buttload more cards to play with, like, the whole thing, the fact that it's a Marseille, and I love Marseille, and I want to see more Marseille. I want to see more diverse and inclusive Marseille. I want to see more themed Marseille that's not just fucking cats. Don't get me wrong, cat decks, great, fine, whatever. I want to see, like, other, like, novelty fun Marseille decks that actually, though, do still read as Marseille, you know? Oh my god, this whole deck makes me happy. There is not a card in this entire deck that does not, like, that is not just fun. Look at the little hands holding up the fans. Look at this. And it will explain what who the dinosaur is, and, like, a person, which which type of dinosaur it is in the book, which is really, really cool. And it's still got a lot of, like, the classic Marseille colours of the red and the yellow and the blue and the green. It's just really clever. Anastasia Kashian obviously knows what she's doing with this. It's fun. In that, my face hurts from smiling already. But yeah, I am so glad I got this deck. Sometimes I just get it out and look at it because it makes me happy. Anyway, and the other one is the Squid Cake Marseille. This is the mass market version in here. I do mostly use my travel version. It is the travel. They're both my independent version, which was very kindly gifted to me. I bought the mass market copy to support Jess Roller, who created the deck. I was really excited for her, and it was pretty inexpensive, honestly. I think they did a pretty good job. I do think I prefer the indie version because everything's in French and it doesn't have, like, titles on some of the cards, and so for the pips it doesn't have like, because you can tell, I know that that's the Three of Swords, I don't need something to tell me, but this is meant to be like a beginner friendly deck. It's very whimsical. I've seen some people not say they don't enjoy the guidebook, or they find that it's too overly positive. I saw that in a comment last week, and I think that's fair. Like for me though, this is one of my favourite little mini guidebooks. I do think it's really good, and I have recommended it to people. Obviously, when you recommend something to people, it isn't going to be right for everyone. Some people are they're just not going to jive with the deck or the guidebook or both or whatever. But for me, I did sort of grab the book and be like, because I'm not a fan of like toxic positivity and like overly yay do the thing kind of just attitude or books anyway. I'm more of a realist. I need to see things in a realistic way in order to be able to cope with the shit show that is everything, right? So I did have a look through, and I couldn't find for me what was being overly positive, but I don't know if it's I've read Yoav Bendov's tarot book, and I can really see like some of these Camellia Elias and stuff like that, and I can see where Jess Roller has sort of absorbed that information and sort of shrunk it down, sort of stripped it back to sort of real simple elements, and to make it succinct in the book, because obviously it's a very small book with a very you've got minimal amount of space to get across what you're trying to say. And I felt that what I really liked about the book is that you get both like the numerological / suit meaning, so you get number plus suit, which is really nice and is sort of how I learn. And then you get like visual, so is it like two, ones forming an X, is it like, and then so you get two parts in the guidebook even though it's really small. And I couldn't find where it was overly positive, but I didn't look through the whole book, but I looked through a chunk of it. But everyone's mileage may vary, because I was like, I've never come across that, because usually that kind of thing really rubs me up the wrong way, and I was like, am I just not seeing it? But again, like I said, everyone's gauge is different on that. And it's not doing anything radical, as in like there's nothing specifically new being said in that book. It is a very like old school Marseille-esque meanings, but with like a contemporary art style. So I think if you're looking for a more sort of revolutionary way to read Marseille, in the sense of like radical and sort of more maybe inclusive, I don't know, then it's not going to give that. So I think when I hate to think there's someone, like, obviously it's going to happen at some point, that I've recommended something to someone and they're like, oh, actually this is shit, or this book is rubbish, or it's not what I think. I need to be try and be more clear about what it is, the information that's in the book. But with regards to the tone, that's not, I don't know, that's going to be dependent on from person to person, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, this anyway, I was showing this, I just started waffling, but yeah, I love the quartz. It's funny, right, because the quartz in a lot of decks I don't enjoy, but actually in all of these decks that I've shown you today, I really love the court cards. All of the court suits in these decks, including the dinosaur one, are really fun and interesting and enjoyable. And generally as a rule, I'm not a massive fan of court cards, right? And I think that's important, because if you're getting court cards coming up in readings, you want to be able to like not be like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's not even so much as I don't know how to read them anymore. It's more just like, I don't know what it is. Courts are probably my least favourite, but these decks have helped me sort of enjoy them more. I mean, look. Who do I want to ride on a giant froggy? A pink giant froggy. Be my friend. So yeah, I love this derpy little deck. I mean, I wouldn't call it sort of a radical or super inclusive deck. There isn't a huge amount of body diversity. The people are like really strange colours, like blue and green, and you know, they're like fantasy people with like pink hair, and you know, it's like they're like a weird, quirky, alternative universe. I don't know, but yeah, it's doing a thing. Is it perfect? No. But is it fun? Yes. It's really difficult. I have to try not to like hold. I feel like I hold so many decks to such high standards, because I'm like, because I have so many decks, I'm always looking for something new and interesting or sort of really inclusive, because if that's just what I want in a deck. But sometimes, you know, there are decks like one of my like most special deck to me is my Tower of the Magical Forest. It is just a straight up Smithway with cute animals. There is nothing radical or inclusive or diverse about it, but it is so special to me because it came into my life at a really important time. It really did a thing with me sort of getting to grips with the Smithway, along with another deck and a couple of books that I really sort of knuckled down with. It was gifted to me by my spouse for Christmas, which made it special. I've modified it so it sort of really feels like mine, and though it just makes me so happy looking at it. Like I just want to, and I had to avoid pulling it out for this video as one of the honourable mentions, because I think you all know that I love that deck at this point. We are almost 8 years into this channel. I already had that deck, I think, by the time I had started. Yeah, I got that deck Christmas 2014. I double checked. And yeah, so I've had that deck a long time. So yeah, stuff and things. Wow. That was a lot. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because we're at 46 minutes. I just said 46, doesn't it turn to 46? And it's away. Again, I was aiming for 30 minutes, but with all the side quests and the distracting and the brain farts, it ended up being longer. Sue me. Don't sue me. I'm Brassic. I do not have a pot. So, yeah. Stuff and things. That's my top 5-ish decks decks of 2023. I will possibly do a Oracle deck version. Again, I don't know what people get out of these videos. I enjoy watching people's like decks that they've enjoyed over the years. Maybe you'll enjoy this as well. It's more also for me to look back on the year and sort of summarize, but also so I have this video to look back on next year, or in 10 years, who knows, if we aren't all in an apocalyptic wasteland by then, because I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, I don't know, that was a really inopportune time to take a sip of my coffee. So yeah, we are 9 days out from Christmas. I've still got some Christmas prep to do, but I'm mostly done for stuff, so I'm just going to be taking it easy. So I'm hoping I'll have time to like film my last little end, you know, we all have those like little spurt of end of year videos, like top 5 tarot decks, top 5 oracle decks I want to work with in the new year, end of year musings, all those kind of things. We will see. I'm not going to force myself. I want to be doing them because I want to do them, and I'm just going to see how I feel. I'm just going to suck it and see. What's that from? Suck it and see. From an advert years ago in the UK. Suck 'em and see. Was it like a throat lozenge advert? Suck 'em and see. And when I was a kid, I thought they were saying Zuck 'em and see or something. I was like, what are they saying? Suck 'em and see, suck 'em and see. Like as one word. Because kids. Also, I have like auditory processing issues. I have auditory processing issues, which is always fun. Closed captions are my friend. So anyway, yes, I am going to go because this is, I don't even know, I never know how to finish these videos anymore. I used to be quite good. No, that's a lie. I've always been shit at ending videos. But I want to say, if I don't upload a video before Christmas, because the next one will possibly go up on Christmas Eve, like I said, I'm going to see how I feel. I hope that if you celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate Yuletide or Solstice, or Krampusnacht is already gone, if you celebrate Krampusnacht, I hope you had a nice time. Question mark. If you celebrate Saturnalia, good for you. And whatever, Hanukkah, any other holidays going on, this is one of the busiest holiday seasons of the year. I hope whatever you celebrate, if you believe what you believe or don't believe, that you are having a good time, that you are safe, that you are well if you're watching this, or if you're not watching this. But then if you're not watching this, then I can't talk to you if you're not watching this, if that makes sense. Can you tell I've had a caffeine? Okay, right. So yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Comment down below. What were your favourites of the decks that I showed you? What were your favourites of this year? I love interacting with you folks down down below. That sounds so wrong. I love interacting with folks down below. I need to this is what I mean. I need to think before stuff comes out of my mouth because it just sounds weird or rude or saucy. I'm not trying to be saucy. If I was trying to be saucy, you'd know about it. Anyway, what is this? I'm gonna go. You take care of yourselves. Love you. Ciao. Hello, Kelly Bear here. Welcome to my channel. If I seem a bit frazzled, if I seem a bit hot and bothered, if I seem a bit it's because I am. I'm PMSing, and also I'm just like, I was cold and then I put my sweatshirt on and then I was trying to prep for this video and then I was too hot, so I took the sweatshirt off, and now I'm like wishing I'd put my hair up out of the way because I have too much hair. No one needs this amount of hair. What the fuck? Anyway, so yeah, I really just want to like chop it all off. But I don't even know where my hair clip is. So it's down. It is what it is. This video has started off a little chaotic. Even no, this is a mess. Nope. Gentle breaths, not gentle breaths. You need deep breaths. See, I've had caffeine. I'm not meant to have caffeine because of the old, you know, the ticker. But also, how does a neurospicy how does a neurospicy person function without the caffeine, right? Oh, can these be bloopers? This can be bloopers. These can be bloopers. Who wants to see this? No one wants to see this. No. Stop pressing. I keep pressing record while I'm still taking deep breaths. I need to take the deep take the deep breaths. I nearly said deep breaths. Freudian slip. Boobs. Yeah.